having the PowerPoint so that we could follow along. And you're very creative, which is one of your best things. Weaknesses, plurals are very difficult. Be very careful when you memorize your script that you know which word needs an S at the end, because it sounds very funny if there are not S's in the right place. So be careful when you are memorizing to watch for the S, especially. You seemed so nervous that you all looked unhappy, except for during the game. Then you were maybe feeling a little more comfortable during the game when you were playing Tom and Jerry, and I don't know what the names were on the others, but when you were playing your parts, you appeared more comfortable. But when you delivered the news and other things, you sounded a little like just unhappy. So try to forget the camera is there. Try to forget anyone is watching, and just focus on being able to still smile and put intonation in your voice. Because if you talk like this, you sound like a robot rather than a person. You don't want that. It sounds very strange, like a computer. So you want to put emotion in your voice. If you talk about a news item that is happy, you can sound happy, you can smile. It's a good thing. But if you are talking about a news item, maybe something that is bad, it's okay to have a straight face because you're talking about something sad. But if you're talking about something happy, people will only want to watch you if you make them feel good or informed or things like that. So smile. I could tell that you were very nervous, and we know this is the first time with the camera, so it will get easier. And when you work with your script, it is better to glance at something. If you have your paper, if you have some notes, and you come to a difficult word, it's better to look down and check it as you speak than to just leave things out or to say them wrong because you don't have the paper. So memorize it, but you can also have your paper. So if you forget something or if you know a word is very hard for you, you can look, check it, say it, and people will hardly notice. With Vietnamese, mostly everything was translated, but everything for an English broadcast, everything except for people, their proper names. Everything except for your names, or if you mention someone in the news, like a teacher or something like that, you use their names, no translation, just their name, exactly as it is. But everything else needs to have some sort of translation. If it is a song title or like a kind of cake, not your group, but it must have a translation because it is English news. So you can say the word first, or the song name first, whatever it is, in Vietnamese, but then you must give what that means in English. And then one little tip. I never ever heard anyone say this before I came to Vietnam, but people say it here all the time, and that is goodbye, see you again. No one says that. In English-speaking countries, goodbye, see you again is not common. So maybe use something different, because just no one says it. At least in America, you would never hear anyone say, see you again. So maybe use something else that is more common. And then one more thing. Yes, I think so. You use that a lot to start a sentence. And that is also something that we use only, like if someone asks you a question, does the train leave at 9? Yes, I think so. But we don't use it at the beginning of a sentence, ever. So it's just not common. Maybe use something different. I don't know if that's maybe a translation from Vietnamese to English. Maybe that's something common to say in Vietnamese. But in English, it doesn't sound normal at the beginning of a sentence, only as an answer to a question. And then, group one. Okay, strengths. Your PowerPoint is excellent. The logo at the beginning, and then having that with breaking news, and you still have your little logo spinning in the corner, excellent. It looks very realistic of what a news program might use. So the logo was very good. Your slide setup looked very good. Each picture in your PowerPoint looked good. Good use of pictures, and for the weather, the maps were excellent. Weaknesses, plurals, using your S at the end of a word. Like I told group 3, it sounds very funny if you don't use the S at the end of a word that is plural, and it needs one. So when you memorize your lines, be careful to use the S in the right place. If it is supposed to be at the end of the word, don't let it drop off, because it sounds very strange. There was only one smile in your whole group while you were giving your scripts, giving your news items and other things. So, let's see, it's Queen Anne, right? She smiled, and I know everyone else was really nervous. So you probably will smile next time, but try, because if you look so unhappy, people, I don't know, if you're talking about things that are funny, like you saw the traffic jam over by the gate, and you're talking about something that's very funny and maybe people will laugh, but you're so serious, there was a traffic jam by the gate, and no one thinks it's funny because you're not smiling and you're not laughing, but when you're not nervous, then maybe you can smile more when you give your pieces for the program. You used a little bit more intonation than group 3, but definitely you need to practice not talking in a monotone voice. English is not tonal like Vietnamese, but if you speak English with no tones, it sounds very weird. So you can't just drop all tone in your voice. You just don't have a set tone. You have to use emotion in your voice. Again, everyone was nervous, and that's okay, because it's the first week with the camera, so we understand. Some hints. Translate everything, like I told the other group, like Nhung cakes. It doesn't really make sense to call them grilled. I don't know what I would call them, maybe baked, but if you have a word in Vietnamese, you need to translate it, unless it is someone's name. Greetings and goodbyes. This is good for everyone to hear. At the beginning of a news program, whatever comes first, whoever first speaks, they can greet the audience. Say, hello and welcome to whatever the program is called, whatever your name is. Welcome to our program today. And then they start. At the end of each segment, you don't want to say goodbye to the audience. Not until the very end. So you can, as you finish, someone else comes up, the next person can say, hi, I'm Kirsten with the weather, and then start. But you do not want a formal, hello and welcome to every segment, just at the very beginning and the very end. So, I think I wrote down an example. Let me see. Somewhere I wrote you guys an example. Oh yeah. For example, like at the end of the program, it'd be very common for someone to say, that's all the news for now, and we'll see you next week on, and then the name of your program. That would be a very normal ending to a news show in English. And then some of you use especially at the beginning of a sentence to try and say this is a special thing, but it doesn't work in English that way, so just don't do that. Like, for example, especially you will see this at Thanh Nguyen University. It just doesn't sound right, it's not proper grammar, so just don't use especially at the beginning of a sentence. I can help you with better ways to say, and this is a special thing at the university, but don't use that. So, okay.
Yeah, thank you, Kirsten. Yeah. Very valuable turn. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the CFS TV. Our show today contains the following program. First, the news by Juan. Second, the report Mid-Autumn Festival. The third, student cook. And the last, weather forecast. Now let's begin with the news by Juan.
Welcome to Midnight Minutes TV show. During the last week, students in the hostel have been faced with water resource problem. There has been a water cut from the 15th up till now. Students have to get water manually from the container. The main reason for this may due to the repair of the building 8-1 and 8-2. And now there is no sign of an end to this situation until the repairs are finished. In order to equip students of class K42 necessary and useful skills in learning methodology, the Foreign Language Department, in collaboration with the Tâm Việt Group, will have a seminar called Learning Strategies, the Key to Success. The content of the lectures and other activities will be planned by teachers from Tâm Việt Company. The seminar will start at 7:30 p.m. on Sunday the 23rd. All students from classes K39, K40 and K41 may join the seminar. The annual Trung Thu or Mid-Autumn Festival, falling on September the 25th or August the 15th, according to lunar calendar, last week took place excitingly this